of the closest mountain towards me, or some call it a carpool in sight. And we are out driving the 2015 Harley Davidson Breakout. Really enjoy this bike. I kind of want to go over the specs of what this bike has. Some of it I slightly have changed, but most of it is generally all stock. So we'll start from the front to the rear. We'll just kind of jump around the best way I can compile this here. The big rim itself, that is a 21-inch rim that they put on this. 5 cutouts on the spokes. Now they did that so it actually looks like a 5-spoke rim, and then moving its way up is the wide glide front end, and that is a 35-degree rake. Then the all-black look of the bike, wrapping our way to the back end of the bike, which is the jewel of this bike when it is in front of you. It is badass looking. That is a 240 tire on the back end. It is fat. Kind of the overall walk around the bike. Let's hop on it and get to it. All right, so the whole point of this video, we are riding the bike out. The best way I know to test this, we're just going to work. My work ride is very long. My first initial feel, I mean, one, we got forward controls rather than our mids, but the way that this is low slung, it's not like I am hunched over. I thought I was going to be more hunched over. You have a bit of a lean, definitely is there, but nothing compared to like a super stretched out, like your forwards are like this going down the road and you're kind of almost like at a fold stance with these drag bars. So the specs on this thing from the motor wise, going from the FXR once again to this, is it's significant. I mean, you're going from an Evo to a twin cam, and it's all stock on this one. Even the motor from the beginning, like, it's all stock as an Evo can be, which gives the Evo, or it gives this twin cam, a whopping 95 pounds of torque. And I believe it's like, I think they measured it at like 3,500 RPMs, and a whopping 75 horsepower. Ooh, you're not buying the bike for the power, that's definitely for sure. But for me, hopping on this bike and going to the FXR, or vice versa, it's nice. I mean, just that extra bump of, like, let's see here, I think we're in not too far off, like 60 horsepower, so you got about 15 horsepower gain. The torque is where the major difference is. I mean, you get 65, I'll put up the exact one, I can't remember what mine exactly came. It's right around the 65 pounds of torque, so you get an additional 30 pounds of torque. That's where you're going to see the difference, just like any other Harleys that seem to come out. How it feels right now on slow traffic or modern traffic right now on my way to work, it's not bad. It's definitely not bad at all. I mean, my back's not even hurting yet, so having a drag bar bike and riding to work with non-stop traffic on and off the gas, yeah, not so bad. So I've been at it probably so far, well, you guys don't see it easily, probably close to half hour's worth of riding right now, turning on this thing and doing some of the low or tight corners. It's can be pretty fun. Once you like kind of master it a bit, you can start to grind these pegs that are below here, and whew, it's fun when you get to scrape peg. It's definitely something that if I do it on my FXR, I gotta push just because of the clearance that it has, and we don't have massive twisties. All right, we're gonna hop on the freeway. So already cruising, getting up on the highway to top speeds that I want to get up. I mean, I'm cruising easily 85 miles an hour, and the one thing that all newer Harleys have since, like, what's that, 2006, 2005? Can't remember, right around there. I'll put up the correct year. You have a 6 gear. Oh man, it is nice. This makes the commute a lot easier. I mean, don't get me wrong, the FXR feels nice when you're topping it out on RPMs and you're hauling ass, it feels like, but I'm doing almost 90 miles an hour right now at 3,000 RPMs. At 70 miles an hour on the FXR, you're almost at 4 grand, so 1,000 miles more, and it doesn't feel like it has much more than that. It's just not meant for the top speeds. Now, you can push it. I've pushed my FXR into the 90s, but that's pretty much it. In a downward slope, that's what you're gonna get out of that. But this one, we could easily probably hit 110 on this. The downside that I have seen so far on this bike, surprisingly enough, is the brakes. I know this has ABS. When you hit on it, that big tire wants to kind of lock up. Let's see how this fills up on the maneuvers. We got a couple cars up here. Let's see what we got. See if they don't get over. All right, pulling it back. Woo-hoo! Woo! Fucking do traffic! That was fun. Kind of got to push it there and see what this bike does, a little more on the top end of it. So it has a bit of a vibration, which most bikes I want to say are going to have, but Harleys, I've definitely felt that before on a lot of Harleys. It's like you're pushing it towards its top end, of course, and it starts to give it to vibrate. Not like the bike gives on a death wobble. That was, I mean, I know about the Dyna death wobble, and this doesn't have it. You know, as far as what I just rode there, not one wiggle or anything. So that's a big difference between these old Softails. Normally, when you start hitting the higher, like, you know, 85 to 100 on Dynas, like, they definitely start to do this wobble that's on the back that's famous for. The Softail didn't. I mean, it held pretty damn solid. Fully dig it. Like, hopping on the gas there and then getting up the top end, I mean, it was without ease. That was something that the FXR lacks for me, which I've talked about before, is just the top end. I mean, the gearing, you're going from a 5-speed to a beautiful 6-speed, so you're definitely going to have those, you know, limitations, I should say, going up to it. This video's probably going much longer than my normal videos, but I'm having fun. This was a fun one to do. I've been planning this one just because I had so many videos to have planned out for this bike that I wanted to get it all swung together, and I gotta go pick up my bike or swap out my bike for this bike, get the FXR back and get back to it. But I mean, night and day difference, people. Like, this bike, it's just, it is. You're going from Softail, we got a 6-speed, we have, you know, twin cam. What the hell is this guy doing? There we go. We got, like I said, twin cam. Like, everything is more modern. I mean, obviously that changed with everything else since it's a 92 2015, but the overall stance, handlebars, like, this is such a huge difference of what I usually ride to, and I love it. I see why my dad bought this bike, not just for the looks. I mean, it's definitely a cool bike. I mean, going down the highway and blasting past this traffic, like, it had no problem. Like, maneuvering in between cars, I thought would be a little more cumbersome to feel that, but it without ease, I mean, with ease, I should say, it did it. So definitely dig this. Mark my words, people, this Softail and other Softails will definitely make a comeback. And I think one that I would have in my garage is they make a Softail CVO for this Breakout. I forgot to mention. So I mentioned that this bike didn't have a 110, but this Breakout, the CVO version Breakout, came with a 110 and an inverted front end. If I can get my hands on one to test ride, I really want to see. I mean, that bike originally came out was like, that's cool. It's a Softail, but it's got a, you know, inverted front end. But now looking back at it, like, bad ass. It is so sweet. Like, I'm sure it's going for still a top dollar just because of the rarity of the bike, but definitely want to see if I can get one in my garage one day after riding my dad's bike to homage, what do you want to call that, of his ride. All right, guys, that about wraps it for me in this one and the Softail. Ride for a while now. Jeez, everyone can't drive today. So, if you have made it all the way through, I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button, tap that like, press the notification, leave a comment below, tell me what you think. And for those who've already subscribed, thank you. And as always, stay free. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.